Okay, so we're all living in this totally digital world, right? But have you ever actually stopped and thought about what's running everything behind the scenes? I mean, every single app, every website, every time you buy something online, it's all powered by this silent, super organized force. Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain on exactly what that is. We're talking about the Database Management System, or DBMS for short. Seriously, think about it for a second. Your phone, where do all your photos, your contacts, your messages, where do they actually live? When you search for a friend's number or pull up a picture from 2 years ago, that information doesn't just appear out of thin air. No way. It's stored somewhere, it's organized, and it's fetched for you in like a split second. And that whole process, well, that's exactly where our story kicks off.
All right, so to really get a grip on this, we've got to go back to the very, very beginning. We're starting with the most fundamental building block of our entire digital world, data.
So, what even is data? I mean, in its most basic, purest form, it's really just raw, unorganized stuff. Facts and figures. It could be a simple number, a single word, even one tiny pixel in a photo. By itself, one little piece of data doesn't really mean a whole lot. It's kind of like seeing one random word on a blank page. It's just there. And let me tell you, we create unbelievable amounts of this stuff every single day. The text messages you're sending, your own phone number saved in a friend's contact list, every photo you take, every voice note you record, all of that, every little bit, is a different form of data. They're like the digital breadcrumbs we leave behind. Okay, so we've established we have all this raw data. Just piles and piles of it, right? But just having it sitting there, it's not actually that useful. You need a system, a way to organize it all so you can make sense of it. And this is the moment we level up from just plain data to something way more powerful, a database. Now, here's a really great way to think about this, and it's going to stick with you. Imagine that every single piece of data, like one of your contacts or a single photo, is a book. If the data are the books, then the database, well, that's the entire library. It's not just a messy pile of books on the floor, it's the whole building with shelves and sections all organized. And that word right there, organized, that is absolutely the key. A database takes all that raw, messy data and gives it structure. It stores it all electronically in a way that makes it super, super easy and incredibly fast to find the exact thing you're looking for the second you need it. And you might not even realize it, but these things are literally everywhere. The system your school uses for student records and grades, that's a database. A hospital keeping track of patient information, you guessed it, another database. Your bank account details, your social media profile, all your posts, all of that stuff lives inside these huge, highly organized databases. So you might be thinking, okay, but why all the fuss? Why not just, save everything in regular old files on a computer? Well, that's a great question. Let's take a look at what happens when you try to manage a ton of information that way. Spoiler alert, it gets really messy really fast. And this table just lays it all out, the core problems. I mean, think about it. With the old way, using simple files, you could easily have the same customer's address saved in 10 different places. So what happens when they move? Which file do you update? All of them? What if you miss one? Boom, now you've got conflicting, inconsistent information. And don't even get me started on security. Trying to control who sees what is a total nightmare. So to sort out all of this chaos, we need a hero to step in. We need an intelligent system that doesn't just store the books, but actually manages the entire library. And this is where the database management system makes its grand entrance. So let's jump right back to our library analogy. If the database is the library, then the DBMS is the master librarian. This librarian knows exactly where every single book is on every shelf. It's the one that handles all the requests, makes sure books get put back in the right spot, and, importantly, decides who gets the key to the restricted section. It's basically the brain of the whole operation. Now, this is a really important distinction to make. The DBMS isn't the data itself, and it's not even the database building. It's the software that acts as the go-between. It's the tool, the application you use to actually talk to the database, to ask it questions, to tell it what to do, to manage everything. And the way this librarian works is actually pretty straightforward. Let's break it down. Step 1. You make a request. You open your banking app and tap to see your balance. That's you asking a question. Then, step 2, the DBMS finds it. Your app sends that request to the librarian, which instantly zips through the entire library, the database, to find the right book, your account info. And finally, step 3, the DBMS delivers. It grabs that info and hands it right back to your app. And the crazy part? This whole thing happens in milliseconds. Yeah, you've probably seen some of these names floating around, right? MySQL, Oracle, SQL Server, PostgreSQL. These are some of the heavy hitters, the most popular DBMS software packages out there. These are the actual librarians that power so many of the apps and websites we use every day. Both huge companies and tiny startups build their entire digital businesses on top of powerful software just like this. Okay, let's bring this all home. What's the bottom line here? Why is using a DBMS, a proper manager, so much better than that chaotic old way of just using files? Let's tick off the big wins. Benefit number 1, and this one is huge. You get rid of all those duplicate copies. It's called redundancy reduction. That customer's address, it now lives in one and only one central place. That's the single source of truth. This obviously saves a ton of space, but way more importantly, it prevents all that confusion and inconsistency we talked about. Next up, security gets a massive upgrade. The DBMS is like a super strict gatekeeper. You can create very specific rules about who is allowed to see certain data and, even more crucial, who has permission to change it. So for example, a bank teller can probably look up your account balance, but they definitely can't change your home address with the right permissions. The DBMS is the one enforcing all those rules 24/7. And this leads to another huge win, data sharing, and what we call data integrity. Basically, it just means the data is trustworthy. A DBMS guarantees that when one person updates a piece of information, that change is immediately visible to everyone else who needs to see it. This ensures everybody is working from the same playbook with the same correct info. No more guessing which file is the right one. So if we look at all the core advantages together, you can see that data integrity, just making sure the information's reliable and accurate, is the biggest piece of the pie. But right behind it, you've got that beefed up security and getting rid of all those extra copies. And then, of course, you've got easy sharing and something we can't forget, the ability to back everything up and recover it if disaster strikes. That's a big one. I think this quote just nails it perfectly. A DBMS is the difference between having a pile of books and having a library. It really all comes down to that. I mean, anyone can make a pile of data, but to turn that messy pile into something useful, something secure, something you can actually rely on, well, for that, you need a system. You need a librarian. You need a DBMS. So I want to leave you with this one final thought. Every single second, our world is creating more data than ever before in history, and that pace is just getting faster and faster. The big challenge for the future isn't just finding a place to store all this data, it's about how we manage it intelligently. These digital librarians of the future, they're going to have to be faster, smarter, and more powerful than anything we've seen. So the question is, what does that even look like?